Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo. And in this episode, we are going to take a look at Ironwood. I'm going to show you this from a solo standpoint, and then I'll let you know what I think. All right, let's get started. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And if you have, I do really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Okay, so you are seeing a game kind of in progress. It's a little bit more than halfway-ish, I guess. It's right there on the nose here. And I'm playing the ironclad bot over here, and I'm playing against the bot who is playing the wooden bot, okay? And so my goal with the ironclad is to build 3 foundations and turn them into forges. I've already done that once, so I got to build 2 more of these. And you have to build them in the outer cities, okay? And in order to do that, you basically have to have a group of your fighters over in that spot called a warband. You have to play a specific card that lets you build a foundation there, okay? And you always have that card available to you because you're going to have 3 basic cards that you're always going to have in your hand to start each round, plus some other cards you're going to draw up. They're called special cards. The way that the bot or the opponent wins is they have to discover 3 of these totems over here. And when these totems are discovered, they're discovered someplace in these inner forests, and then they have to move them to the outer forest by basically moving their war bands with this to carry this away before it fades away in basically 2 turns. They do that 3 times, they win. So this game is all played by the use of cards, and the cards are going to tell you what you can do. On each card, it's going to have some kind of instructions. So for instance, this one says resolve 2 of the 3, okay? So you get to either move a warband, move your miner, or your drill, pardon me, or place a foundation on an outer peak you control. So that's how you get, like those foundations going, okay? And then there's this whole deck of all these other cards that do all sorts of other different things in lots of different ways. And the same thing happens, although they say asymmetrically, but it feels similarly, even though they're different cards, they're definitely different. You're still moving around the board, you're still attacking, you're still trying to accomplish your stuff. So it's different, but it's not super, super different because it can't be. It's a game with conflict at its base, right? So you've got to move, you've got to attack, you've got to defend, you've got to build up, you've got to recruit. Even though they're different, those are still the things you're going to be doing, okay? So let me show you around. And oh, by the way, and so the bot is controlled heavily by this sheet right here. And if you're playing against the ironclad bot, it uses this side to determine its stance and to determine what the cards do. And if you're playing against the wooden bot like I am, you're either going to be in disruptive mode or in exalted mode. And that all depends on whether there's a totem on the board or not. So we're going to start this round. I'm going to show you what happens. So you start by, in this case, the ironclad will always gain 2 crystals. Crystals are used to build the forges. And if you have 5 of those, you can build them on a controlled foundation. Or you use them to recruit guys, ironclad fighters and such, on the different mountain peaks. And then the wooden bot always gets 1. They use these specifically for recruiting units, and they can actually steal and plunder from my supply depending on what they attack. All right, so we do that. Then I draw 2 cards, and these 2 cards are going to go into my hand as specialty cards or special cards, okay? So I got this card here that says draw another special card, attack, and then choose one before the combat. So you can see that's definitely different. And then here another one, spend a crystal to recruit 2 to any forge, and then move. So these are all very different, okay? And you're going to play 3 cards on your turn. They're going to play 3 cards on their turn. And also, if you have some of these persistent cards, like I had one over here, you end up removing one of those cubes at the end of the beginning, of the preparation, the end of the preparation phase, the beginning of the round, and you will discard the card. Okay, then for the bot's going to draw 2 cards, and they're going to mix it in with those 3 base cards, like so, and then they're going to be ready to go. Now, the bot will, depending on the wooden bot, the wooden player always takes the first turn. They're always first, okay? So because he's in disruptive mode, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to discard one of these vision cards. And these vision cards are used to say where the totems might show up. In this case, it would be Caprumus, all right? But I already spied on that before and knew that it was not going to be there. So I took off the marker, but these little markers on the board say, well, it could be in these 3 locations besides. Okay, so that didn't happen. And since it wasn't there, he is going to he's going to draw the top card. He's going to execute it based on these icons over here. So these icons, if they're both brown and you're playing on the standard difficulty or the normal, like, beginner difficulty, I guess, you would just do both of them. But if any of them are red, you would ignore the reds on the standard difficulty. Now, we look at this thing right here, okay? And it tells us what to do. So the first symbol was this, and it says it wants you to move, or it wants the bot to move 2 of its units to interfere. What the heck does that mean? Well, interfere specifically refers to a type of movement in this bot. And so you're in this block. And so what it's going to do is it's going to target a movement of an inner forest adjacent to a controlled foundation with the largest number of woodwalker fighters adjacent. So it's going to try to get there first. Well, what do we have? An inner forest adjacent to a controlled foundation. Okay? There is no controlled foundation out here on the board, period. So that is already off the table. Next, it says an inner forest adjacent to Ferrum with the largest number of woodwalking fighters. Well, that would actually be here, okay? Because this is adjacent. That's not. So what's it going to try to do? It's going to try to move there. And so it's going to move how many? Did we say it's going to move? Let's see. So it was this one, 2. So the only place it can move 2 from is right here. So it's going to move those 2 right here, and it crosses over in these valleys. That was a relatively straightforward move. Sometimes it's really difficult to try to figure out exactly what they're telling you in this. Now it's clear, but I'm still, after a couple of games, I still haven't quite mastered the way that the wooden bot moves around the board with priorities. Then it says it wants you to, so move 2 to interfere, and then it wants you to attack. And it wants to attack, in this case, a controlled foundation, but there are none, a controlled peak, okay, if it's possible, which it is right here. So we stop right there. We do that. It wants to attack at this controlled peak. Now, because it outnumbers me, or at least it equals me, it will attack. If it had less than that, it wouldn't attack at all. It would not resolve the attack. That would be the end of it. It would move on to the next icon. But because it's going to attack, I choose first one of these wager cards. And the wager card is going to be something that I'm going to use to try to push either an attack, a defense, or in this case, the domination, I think it's what it's called, dominance, to try to get them to retreat, okay? This is a really strong one in that regard. But I think I like the ceasefire a little better, because the ceasefire will give me 2 attack and 3 to push away. Now, I don't have any defense in that, which is a little bit risky. So that's the tough part. But I'm going to do that anyway, just because I'm going to move on. Then he deals off the top card of his deck, and he got a 3 attack. Okay, so then we compare. Basically, these tokens, the standard tokens, have no inherent attack. I do have units called golems that would give me a +1 attack if I had any out there, but I don't. So he hits me for 3, and I hit him for 2, and we have no defense. So he hits me for 3. It wipes out all 3 of these guys right here, and I hit him for 2. So that was very effective on his part. He really hit a good blow there. I hit him for 2, and because I'm completely wiped out, there is no retreating, okay? But if there had been a situation where I had survived, because I would have 3 of these domination symbols right here, I'd add that to the number of surviving units, and then he would add the 0 plus the 2, and whoever has the most, or if it's a tie, the attacker, would force the other one to retreat if they wanted to. But either way, that was a very strong move by him. He pushed me away. We discard this card over here, and I discard my card over here. Now, there's a second brown icon on this, and it shows this icon right here. So that one, when I reference this, says, draw 1 card for the bot and put it in the top of his hand, then he gains a crystal. Pretty simple. All right. Gains a crystal. Okay. Now his turn's over. Now it goes to my turn. Well, what do I want to do? Well, I want to strike back, because I do not need him finding a totem over here and slinking it off the board. However, I have 5 crystals over here. And 5 crystals means I can effectively try to score a point over there. So I'm probably going to risk it a little bit and focus on my strategy first. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to play this, which says resolve 2 of these. I can move a warband, I can move the drill, I can place a foundation on an outer peak that I control. So I am going to do the following. I'm going to put this over here, and then I'm going to move some warbands into this spot right here, just so that I don't have an issue where there's nothing going on. We'll at least put 2 of them over here like this. And I might even want to move 3. You know what? No, I'm going to do that. We're going to move down there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place that foundation right here, because that's getting myself ready with the 5 crystals to score that point, so to speak. Okay, so that's my turn. Now we go back to him. What's he going to do? He draws the top card. He has these 2 icons here. Both of them are brown. This first one shows recruit. So he's going to recruit one of those guys. And where's he going to recruit it? Well, oh no, I'm sorry. First he is going to discard the top card here because of his stance or his posture. All right. Arjun Timar is not going to have token. Okay, then he's going to resolve this. Okay, so we're going to put this over here. He's going to recruit. He's going to put 1. Where is he going to recruit? We got to look at the recruit table here and see where he's going to go. He's going to go adjacent to a totem. If it was there, there isn't one. Adjacent to a controlled foundation. Okay, so that means he's going to put 1 over here, because that is, they always recruit from the outside. I recruit from where my forges are. So he puts it over there. Okay, he recruited 1. Now what else is he going to do? He has this other symbol. This symbol over here shows an exclamation mark. And what is that one? That says expand another card, placing it on top of this card and resolve its icons. If this icon would be resolved the second time, that you gain the gain a crystal. So we're going to put another one on here. So now he's going to do, in this case, just this, which is the icon right here, which says if there's a warband on an inner forest is adjacent to a possible and uncontrolled peak, it's going to discover there. So what do we have? Well, here we go. It's adjacent. It's an inner one. It's adjacent to an uncontrolled peak. So it's going to discover there. So what that means is, since it discovers, we go right through to this vision deck and we pull out this card right here. It will be discarded from the game, and it's going to put a totem right in that spot. There we go. So sometimes you can get really sneaky like that. Okay, because that happened, as soon as one of these totems come out, we flip this over because it's been placed in the map. So now we go to the exalted side, and that's going to change things. Oh, by the way, when I built that foundation, I should have put a cube over here, which will basically make him stronger. All right. Now it comes to my turn. So now I've got a problem. In 1 turn, he's going to escape. So because I'm over there, if I want to stop that, I'd have to somehow get guys over there to attack. And the only way I could do that would be to move from here to here and then get an attack out. Do I have any cards that would allow me to do that? That's just to resolve 1, so no. I can't do that. I could attack here, but that's not going to help. It's not going to do the trick, because he's got 3 guys. That's almost impossible. Okay, I could do this. This one says, yeah, so I'm probably going to do this instead. Okay, we're going to play this card, and I draw 1, and then I'm going to spend 2 crystals. Unfortunately, that means I'm not going to be able to build my forge and score the point. Spend the 2 crystals so I can resolve these. I'm going to move 1 warband. So we're going to move like this, which puts me a little bit at risk, but I need to do it. I got to push them off that point. And then I'm going to attack. And so now I'm going to do the attack. Well, I want the one that's going to give me the most bang for my buck, which is probably this. I really want him to retreat more than anything else. I want to push him away. Yeah, let's do, I want to do some attacking though. Maybe tunneling. This one, I'm going to do tunneling. I'm going to try to risk it for the biscuit. If If I hose myself, though, I'm going to be mad that I didn't do the other one to really push him away from that spot. Because it seems like, to me, once the bot gets disrupted from having the totem, it's really tough for him to get it back. At least that's just my impression so far. So that would give me effectively, I think we're going to do that. We're going to be okay. All right, now he is going to get a +1 defense and a +1 dominance. So he's going to defend against a lot of my attacks. I mean, this is going to be completely ineffective. So it doesn't make any sense to do that. I'm, in fact, just going to do this to try to force him into retreat. So what do we have here? Okay, so he does not attack me because he has no attack. We don't do any attacks. So he's going to have 5 + 1 is 6. 6 to the dominance, but I have 9. So I get to push him away, and I'm actually going to push him out into this valley and over here, over there. So now he has to abandon the totem, and it stays right there. Okay, I know this is taking a little bit, but I think it's important to see kind of all the dynamic. And so we're going to keep on going here. Last card for the round. So he is going to, but see, now he stays in this Exalted. So it says, if the totem is with a warband, he'd move and be done. And he'd score it, right? He'd secure it. Otherwise, I gotta go do this card. And this card has this symbol right here. Expend another card by placing it on top. Oh, no, wrong one. It moves 3 to plunder and then moves 2 to interfere. And then it tries to attack. So here's what I don't quite understand. And I'm still working this out because I don't get it. Why wouldn't it try to move to secure more than anything else? I guess there are some that says secure, but it's like once the bot gets thrown off the point, it seems like it's sort of tough for him to get back on it. I don't know. Because it says plunder and interfere. Well, okay, let's do that. And we'll show you what that means. So he's going to move to plunder. What is plunder? Well, it says if I have 5 crystals or more available, he would then try to go in a certain serious situation, but I don't. Instead, it says target a movement if the drill has 2 or more crystals in its cargo area, which I do. It's going to target an inner forest adjacent to the drill with the largest number of woodwalker fighters adjacent. Well, that would be this one because it would be the largest adjacent, right? So he can't get in there, but he can get in here. Okay, so I think what that means is it would be like this with just 1 that way. But he's going to move 3 more. So he's going to go like this and like that. So that pulls in 3. All right, so I can see how that works. That makes sense. And then he's going to move 2 to interfere. So interfere again. First, he would try to go to an inner forest adjacent to a controlled foundation. So first he would want to try to get into these spots, but he has nobody around there. So that's not going to happen. Next, he would, oh no, I guess he can. He can move these over here, but it's only 2 that he can move because he comes through that way. So there he goes. Now he's going to attack. And where's he going to try to attack? He's going to attack the drill. So in order for him to attack the drill, he has to basically attack the spot and win on the spot and force me to retreat to be able to raid the drill and steal my crystals from it, okay? So he's going to attack with this group of 3 to my 2. And since he doesn't have a card, he can't attack. He actually just draws this card, and that's the end of his turn. I don't even have to fight him because he doesn't have an attack. And that makes sense because otherwise I would almost always win. So they basically say, hey, you can't do the attack. You're not going to succeed. That's it. Okay, so he's done. Now my last turn. Unfortunately, I've got only 1 over here. But because I'm so vulnerable with everything going on, I think I want to move my drill if at all possible. So I'm going to play this card, and it says move 1 warband. All right. So I'm going to move a couple over. I think I'm going to move this warband here to keep him from trying to raid me again. And then I'm going to move the drill twice. So the first time I move the drill, I'm going to move it over here, and that moves this right here, which draws me a card and gets me another crystal. And then I move it again, and that allows me to unload all my crystals to here, setting me up for a huge possibility of steamrolling next time. Okay, so that's the end of this action phase. Now we do the end of the round. Basically what you do is you get your star cards back, your base cards back, you discard those. He's going to put these back in his hand. He's going to discard these. The Swift Strike. So he's going to put those back in here. He's going to shuffle those up. All right. And then what's going to happen now is he will recruit first. He will recruit one of these guys as close to the totem and as close, I think it basically goes here. All right, that's what I believe it is. I'm just going to try to move because I know this video is going long. So he's going to move, he's going to recruit over there because he wants to be close to this totem. This fades, by the way, so he only has one more turn to get it off the board. Now me, do I want to recruit anybody at that forge? So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Geez, I could probably win if I just put my head down and focus. So I'm not going to recruit anybody. I'm going to leave it as is. Okay, so I'm not going to recruit. I'm done. My turn's over. And basically, we'd start again, and we would add more crystals, draw more cards, go it again. And again, we're trying to go as soon as one side or the other hits the victory condition, game's over. All right, let me tell you what I think. So Ironwood is a very interesting game in the fact that it is fully... what I want to say. It is a complete experience, even playing solo. You feel like you're playing against a clever opponent that makes some interesting moves, and there's a lot of difficulty that you can ratchet it up. And I will say this is rare for me, but even at the time, I've played a couple games now, I still don't feel like I've got it under my belt. And that's kind of rare for me because, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but usually I can understand what I mean by this is under my belt is in, I'm not sure I've made up my mind yet about this game. It has some really interesting things. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, but it's narrow in scope because you're basically trying to prevent the one guy from doing one specific thing and you are trying to do the other thing. And that's cool, but I don't know how much staying power this is going to have because I do like the fact that either side does different things, but I don't know how many games I'm going to want to play before I've said, all right, that's it. That's enough. I'm good. That being said, I might go completely opposite. I might really like ratchet up the difficulty and say, boy, I really want to try to defeat this bot and see if I can outfox him. I just don't know yet. I'm really kind of divided yet. I'll tell you one thing that's tough, the movement rules and things, which again, I can't imagine how they wouldn't do it this way. They did a good job. It's just very hard for me to understand what's going on. So I spend an awful lot of brain power trying to figure out where it's going to move, what the target's going to be, what it's going to look like. And it was much easier to do against the Ironclad bot. The Ironclad bot, I could make an understanding of like, okay, this logically is where he was going to go, and that's what the rules would have you do. But with the wooden bot comes from sources in different places and moves around a little bit more and is more agile on the board, and it's harder to figure out why or how or what he's going to do because it doesn't necessarily go completely intuitively the way I would see it. That could be because I just don't quite understand the full overarching, like larger picture, and that's possible. But this is one of those rare games where I've played it a couple times and my mind is still not made up. So I'm going to have to defer judgment on this one. It really could be something that sticks with me for a long time, or it might be something I'm saying, you know, I've played it a couple times, but I just don't see this continuing to grow on me. I just don't know. And you know, the other thing is because there's so much variety in the cards, there's a lot of cool stuff that could happen, but I don't know exactly how much different it's going to feel because you're going to get so many different cards each time, but yet the stuff that you're still doing is still similar. You're still moving on the board, you're still deploying, you're still recruiting. It's still like a, you know, it's a dudes on the map style game. And to be honest, I don't have a lot of dudes on the map style games in my collection because I don't know. For whatever reason, they don't seem to, from a solo standpoint, they seem to wear out their welcome pretty quickly. So I'm hoping this one's going to be different. I really don't know yet. But I wanted you to see what was going on because I didn't want to let this go too long without a review. And also, I will say this is a very good, well-designed game. There's a very good game here. The bots have multiple difficulties, so instead of just ignoring one of those red icons, you put the red icons in to ratchet it up. You also can put more board presence on there. There's different ways that you can increase the difficulty at the end. I think that's really good because otherwise it would be, once you figure out how to master the bot, you'd just be knocking them over, I think, every time, unless it's a luck of the draw situation. And that is one thing I will say. There is certainly a bit of luck of the draw here too, because depending on where the totems show up depends on how easy or not easy it is to kind of counteract that. Luckily, I was able to stop that with that totem that you saw there. But in the first turn, it showed up right where all my forces were, and it was very easy for me to stop it. Consequently, when I was playing the wooden clan, I had no problems beating the Iron Bot because they showed up in a very convenient space for me, and I kept being able to mass my forces there, and I kept being able to get ones just because of the luck of the draw. The cards where they were really close and very easy for me to maintain my board presence and just roll it right out the back. So there is a hefty amount of luck in this game, even though there's no dice rolling. Just the way that mechanic works seems like it's a lot of that. There's less luck, I think, in the Ironclad because you're picking where you're going to go. You're kind of establishing that, and I guess that makes sense because if there were two things going on at the same time, and you both went to the different directions, it would just be kind of a race to who can get done what they want to get done fast without it's like, okay, you're scoring there. Well, that's great. I just won. You know what I mean? And so there could be that too. So there's a lot of this game I don't quite understand yet, and I don't quite know, and I haven't made up my mind. So I would just recommend that you look and see, is this the type of game you like, and do you like sorting out where things are going to happen and how, based on some concise but still some fairly complex decision trees of where are these things going to happen, where are these bots going to go, what are they going to do. So that's what I'd say. So far, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I just don't know what the future holds for it for me. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.